Good evening, Second Baptist, and all friends. We thank you for joining us today as we come in and for family check-in. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties, but just be patient. We're working through those now. But today's the first Sunday. We're thankful for all of you. Get your watch parties going, please. Get your hit your share button as we come together. We got some very important information to share with you today, and we want as many people to be as part of that as we possibly can. This is the first Sunday, and we had communion today, had a wonderful service, and I thank God for all of you who prayed me through today. I had a migraine for the first time in a long time, and I'm still having a little residual effects, and I hear echo, but I don't think it's because of the migraine, but we're just thankful. Today is the first Sunday, and on the first Sundays, we recognize all the birthdays in what's the day? It's September, this month, September. For all the September birthdays, all of you, we want to wish you a very, very happy birthday. Also, we do want to remind you, we have been tremendously blessed. There were those who suffered a great deal of loss and a great deal of negative impact from Tropical Storm Ida, as well as Hurricane Ida. Devastating effect on New Jersey. 24 people lost their lives. And here in the Atlantic City area, we were blessed, and we only had a little bit of rain and a little wind. But other parts of New Jersey, central and northern New Jersey, as well as Mullica Hill in our area, tornadoes. And we have already sent support, some relief support to those areas, and we're thankful for those who gifted us with the donations that we needed to make that happen. So we sent gift cards, and we're thankful for those who supported us in that effort. Also, we're having an ongoing relief effort for Haiti, who suffered another devastating earthquake. And so we've asked for the last 2 weeks, we've been lifting an offering for that. And so for those of you who have not given, please continue to give. We ask that you please designate on an envelope and on your check. We ask not that you don't send it by, how do they send it? We want to send it by mail only, and designate it for Haiti relief so we can get that off in the next week or so. We really appreciate all of your support for all of our relief efforts. Second, you have always come to that wheelhouse. That's your wheelhouse, to a giving church, and coming to the need of others at their time of great devastation. And you have been blessed because of it. So please be mindful of that. We've got a really great lineup tonight. We've got various school administrators from Pleasantville and Atlantic City, from the high school, middle school, elementary school, as our kids get prepared to go into a new year. Instructors, they're going to give us some advice on what we need to do to get our kids prepared, and also what our kids should be expecting this year in our new school year. So before they come, we're going to ask that you tune in just for a moment. The choir is going to come. They blessed us this morning. The power team really allowed the Lord to use them greatly, and their ministry this morning was very powerful. And so we are going, for those that may have missed it, our friends around the state and country who might have missed it, you're going to get an opportunity to hear it. And after that, we're going to come back with all of our administrators, and we're grateful for them giving their time and their expertise tonight. And so if you've got some questions, tune in. You can type your questions in, and we'll try and get those answered tonight. But right after this, we'll be back with our school administrators. Welcome back, and I know you enjoyed that and was blessed like that as we were by that song, and we are grateful today that we have some school administrators. We want to welcome Erica Oliver from Pennsylvania Avenue School, Nicole, she is at Sovereign, uh, Miss Andrea Atkins Turner, who is at Pleasant Middle School, and Mandy Days Chapman, who is at Atlantic City High School, and Dr. LaPel Chapman, who is Pleasantville High School. We welcome all of them today, and we're really grateful and thankful because you guys are now on the front line. You guys are now the frontline workers, and we're looking forward to a wonderful and very productive school year. For our children, it's been a very difficult time, as well as for our administrators and educators. And now, for first time back, some of the school just started, and so we want to talk about, you know, what the school districts are doing now, and what the school is doing in particular, being prepared for the kids coming back. You know, from what they missed on last school year, being out and doing virtual learning, and now coming back into the school, and having the hustle and bustle of school life, as well as coming back during the Delta variant that is on the increase and rise, not only across the country, but also here in New Jersey. So we welcome you, and so we'll start with Ms. Oliver on the top of my screen. Welcome, glad to have you. And the other thing I need to, the other wonderful thing, all of these administrators are members of Second Baptist Church, and we're so proud of all of you for, your success in your career and what you do for our children and leading them in educating our kids. So, Sheila, Ms. Erica, welcome. And we'll start you off. What is your school doing to prepare for our kids, and what's the atmosphere and environment now of the school, of our kids in the school this first week of school?
Hi, I'm Erica Oliver Woody. I'm the vice principal at Pennsylvania Avenue School in Atlantic City. So some things we've been doing to prepare our students to come back, lots of PPE equipment, masks. We're taking temperatures as the children come in the building. We have a COVID form for parents to fill out, like if you think your child is ill in the morning. Social distancing at its best. We have guards for the children at their desks. Certain things that we would normally do, we wouldn't do, as far as like having community and having the kids gathered for like story time. So we're taking a lot of precautions. We're trying to get back to normal as much as possible because, of course, we're super excited to have our children back in the building, but we just want to be safe. So one thing we can ask parents to do is make sure your kids always have a mask when they come in the building. I know it's tough, but they have to keep their mask on all day.
Now, when you say you have guards at the desk, you don't mean people, men and
not guards. I'm
sorry. You're talking about shields. You're talking about shields at each desk.
Shields, yes. We
so
have the plastic.
So each desk has a shield on it.
Yes, they do.
For every student in the school, or just
every student has a shield on their desk.
Wow, very good. Sister Nicole, what about your school? What about Sovereign Avenue?
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
We certainly can.
Can you hear me? Okay. So at Sovereign Avenue, the same kind of thing. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So at Sovereign Avenue, okay, thank you. Sovereign Avenue, the same things that Ms. Woody mentioned, and we also for our staff, we're making sure our staff is informed and that they are following COVID-19 procedures as well. As you know, the governor has mandated that teachers in the state of New Jersey, they have to be vaccinated by October 18th. And if they're not, they have to commit to weekly testing. So the district is coming up with a plan now on how that will look for staff members. But for students, we're trying our best to keep them safe, keep them socially distant, have to wear masks as well. and we're just keeping them informed of all changes that may come from the government.
Okay. Miss Andrea Atkins Turner. Can you unmute yourself?
Good evening, church family, and Pastor Dave. So, at the middle school of Pleasantville, and I was in the building most of the day, making sure that our PPE gets into the classroom. I think one of the big issues is going to be getting the kids to social distance during lunch. So we have designated 3 additional classrooms as well as our library as an overflow for lunch to assure that the students can socially distance during lunchtime. And again, we're taking the same precautions as everyone else. There is a manual that was put out by the state called Moving Forward. And in that manual, and it's just 15 pages, it has a lot of safety precautions that every school district can follow. And that has become the guide to what we're doing in Pleasantville to assure that our students are safe when they return to school.
Miss Chapman.
Good evening, church family. So I'm one of the vice principals at Tick City High School. And first of all, I just want to go back because Pleasantville students are not in the building yet, but our students came back last week. And I just want you to know that we were so excited to have you back into our buildings. We missed you, and we welcome you back to school. You made our day. The teachers were excited, the students were excited, and everything went extremely well the first week of school. And so in addition to what everyone else has already said, we're just following the district's protocol and the state guidelines. One of the things that I was very excited about at Atlantic City High School, during the summer, we renovated our library. So we took the shelving down on one half of the library and tiled it out so that it created this beautiful open space. So now we switched over to block scheduling, but we have 2 lunches, but we opened up the library as a space to eat. The students use the cafeteria, and what our teachers usually use as our teachers' cafeteria, the students can now use that as well. And then we also provided some other spaces for our students to eat to kind of space them out. So we have some that go into the JRTC room. They have some grab and go lunches there. Our music room and some of our teachers' classrooms have been designated as well. So we're doing everything that we need to do, and in addition, providing PPE for the students and the staff. But one thing we can say is, parents, we need your help in all of this. We need you to encourage your students to keep their mask on throughout the day. And I'm going to be honest, I can tell you on a high school level, our students did a phenomenal job wearing their mask all day and just doing what they needed to do to keep each other safe. But if your children are sick, please keep them home because we want to ensure the safety of everyone. So please, if you already know that they have a cold or that they've been exposed or that they may be sick, please just do us a favor and keep them home, and we can help and assist in making sure accommodations are given so that they don't miss out on their education.
We also have behind the scenes Dr. Chapman, and you pop on and tell us what you're doing at Pleasantville High School.
Let's see if we can make this work.
So he's working on that. While he's working on that, are you there? One of the things, while he's trying to come on, you're okay, that happened pretty quick. You're the same place I am.
Yes.
Okay.
Can y'all hear me? Okay, good evening. My name is Dr. Chapman. I'm one of the co-principals at Pleasantville High School. We've been doing a lot of the same things that the other schools have been doing in preparation for the return of our children. We had a bit of a test run this summer with our summer enrichment program, where we had, a small cohort of students that actually came into the building so that we could work out some of those kinks and concerns. The biggest thing is to be mindful of the heightened awareness that we need to get back into, because the numbers are going back up, because there's an increase in the infection of children at this particular time. At one time it was the adults, and then it wasn't the children, but now it's the children who are becoming infected, and they are beginning to spread it. So we just have to be mindful and stay at that heightened level of awareness as we return to school. Of course, just like all of the others have shared, there's a mask mandate from the state that all children and adults, vaccinated or not, are to wear a mask inside the building. And so that's what we're going to follow, and we are going to continue to address those concerns with regards to personal protective equipment, the wearing of masks, face shields, hand washing, social distancing where possible. It went from 6 feet to 3 feet, and now it's what you can do within reason, because ultimately they've determined that they want school to happen, regardless of what we could do as far as certain guidelines are concerned. So we are to just make sure that we are conscious and safe about what we're doing in the classroom and in our schools in general. Thank you.
We know that teachers are mandated to get vaccinated. Is there an effort, a school-wide effort, a district effort, to get more students vaccinated this year?
Well, I know that in Pleasantville, we did have a clinic at the high school, and I'm quite sure that we're going to do that again this year. As a matter of fact, at every grade level meeting, I'm going to just slide that in. Not that you're trying to put pressure on students to be vaccinated, but at least this is information that they can share with their parents. So I'm definitely going to mention it at grade level meetings.
Anything in the Lang City District?
We have not hosted vaccination within our school. I'm not sure if that's something that will come, but we do encourage our parents to make the decisions that are best for not just your children, but all children. And so when those opportunities become available, we make sure that we share them.
Now, we also know that, there was a tremendous concern that kids kind of fell behind during the pandemic going virtual. What are you doing to ensure that students catch up this year and that their education was not harmed by not being in school? So is there a particular plan that each school, that your school has, that you put in place that we can make sure that our kids excel?
Well, I know in Atlantic City, we are beginning our morning care program and our aftercare program earlier this year. And we're also on the elementary level, we're offering a ninth period, which is called All Hands on Deck, which is an intervention period. And during that period, teachers are to focus on areas where there's major gaps. So that's being enforced this school year. And the state is also given a test called Start Strong in the beginning of the school year. And with that test, it'll give us some data so we know how to proceed, because there's a lot of learning loss because students have been out of school and the structure has just been, different for about a year and a half now. So that's what we're doing in Atlantic City.
Okay. Are you doing anything particular in your schools, Oliver?
I know in our school, and I believe it was district-wide, basic skills, they recruited more teachers to work on the lower level. I know we have some teachers that are being trained in leveled literacy intervention, which is small group instruction for literacy, usually 3 to 4 children in a group, and also reading recovery. So I know the district is really focused on having BSI teachers really zone in on their lower level kids, not leaving the older kids behind, but we know the younger kids suffered. So hopefully we can catch that now, that it'll help with some of the learning gap that they lost during the pandemic.
Ms. Atkinson Turner?
So one of the things that the district has done this year is implemented the iReady program as an intervention for our students in grades K through 8. Additionally, there are a number of curriculum supervisors who were hired to work directly with the teachers to help give them strategies just to bring our students up to par. So those are just a couple of things that are going on in our
high school level? We'll start with you. Ms. Chapman?
To be honest, one of the things I've just been encouraging our teachers to do is, first of all, just focus on building relationships. We just watched a phenomenal TED Talk. And if you have never seen this TED Talk, it's by Rita Pearson. And I can't even think of the name. If someone knows it, then jump in and just say it. But it really talks about the power of an educator. You know, students don't learn from teachers that they don't like. The power of building a relationship. I think it's called Every Child
Everyone needs a champion.
Every child needs a champion.
Yes.
And so our children have been out of school for 2 years. And some of these children have been in abusive homes. Some of them have, especially on a high school level, have been in abusive relationships. So many things have happened. And so I'm hoping that our teachers take the time to, first of all, get to know our students so that they know what they need. That they take the time to build relationships with our students so that they want to learn. Because that comes first before trying to do all. If you don't know what the need is and you don't know what the child needs, then you can't do anything. And so our goal at the high school is to first build relationships and just kind of figure out what do we need, and just let our students know that they're in a safe place and we're here for you. In addition, our district has also provided, like Erica and Nicole has said, supplemental programs as interventions, and we also have our after-school programs, tutoring. We have students that may not have passed classes, and so they can make some of those classes up online when that starts, I think after September 16th or so. So we just want our students to know that we're here to support you however you need. And I told the teachers when I met with them last week, I hope that they need to come to school, focus on being that champion, but then also have a pocket full of patience, because you can't expect students to just come in the same way that they left. And so they want to have to put those procedures back in place, put some structure back in place, and just do what we need to do in order to support our students so that they can be successful. And, just more than anything, show them some love. And that's the number one priority. If they're safe and that we show them love and support.
May I just add something?
Yeah, sure.
Because Mandy was talking, one of the things that we're doing, because building a relationship is very important, but it's also understanding the culture of the students that you're teaching. And one of the things that Pleasantville has done is had Dr. John Gray in for a series of ongoing training on cultural sensitivity, because we believe that that is very, very important in our district, to get teachers, in touch with their feelings and their understanding of different cultures so that they can build relationship with our students and most certainly do better in educating them. So I just wanted to get that little bit in.
Mm-hmm. And also through the leadership of our superintendent, there have been several layers of supports that have been built in, like Ms. Turner said, with regards to basic skills instruction, the addition of supervisors, and as you all know, September is going to be the month of assessments, where they're going to be testing, and they'll probably be tested out by the time we get finished. But it's going to give us some data to be able to look at and determine where the gaps are so that we can effectively address them. But I think more than that, we've also looked at the SEL portion of the instruction for students as well, which is the social emotional learning. And so we want to make sure that they're all, mentally prepared to be able to receive the instruction, because if they're not, it doesn't do any good. You can, have all the tools and the resources in the world. You can't deliver that instruction to them if they're not ready to receive it. So we want to make sure that they're in a proper mental state to be able to receive that instruction. So that's really what the focus, or one of the primary focuses is going to be for this school year.
So, Mandy, I think you have to cut your car light on a little bit so we can see you getting ready to fade into the darkness. One of the things, what advice do you have for parents? Parents, they have the anxiety about sending their kids to school. So what advice do you have for parents as they prepare for the school year? I'm gonna do a two-part question because I know Atlantic City, you already have your students in. So tell us about what, give some advice to the parents, but also tell us about, what the atmosphere of the students coming in, after being out of school for so long, in person and now coming in person. What's the atmosphere and seeing the, the mindset of the kids coming in? Are they set to learn? Getting back into socializing with their friends and all of that. And I know Pleasantville, you're going in next week, so, we'll be interested to hear what happens with your school district. But Atlantic City School District, what has the experience been so far? And then all of you, I'd like to ask, for advice to the parents.
I'll start. So I'll say the atmosphere coming in, we try to make it as normal as possible. So this week I noticed like these kids were so excited. Like it just felt like home again. And the teachers were excited. The only thing I think is different, not the only thing, but if the students didn't do hybrid last year, seeing the shields was a little different for them. Having a temperature check coming into school was a little different than wearing the mask, of course. But as far as the atmosphere, like our teachers were like excited and they tried to make it as normal as possible. Our kids are eating in the cafeteria. That's normal. So it is some sense of normalcy to them. We try to social distance them as much as possible, but having that like socialization and getting to eat lunch with their friends and having recess has been really, really, good as far as SEL and all the social emotional learning, getting the kids back in school. What was the other part of the question? I apologize.
I'm going to come back to that one in a minute. Let's deal with that first one in terms of the atmosphere of the kids and their mindset.
Just to piggyback on. Oh, go ahead, Nicole. You go.
Okay, I was just want to say on the elementary level, I see a lot of our younger babies, like K-2, they want to hug each other and share things, and that's different for them because that's what they're used to doing. So it's hard to, and you want to hug them too, but we can't. So we have to just tell them, give them the arm bump and just try to say, you can't hug them. I'm sorry. We're dealing with COVID, and just remind them because they're excited. They're excited to see each other. They're excited to be in school. And you got to think second graders haven't been in school since kindergarten. So it's a lot of rebuilding structure. They don't know, we have to review how to act in the cafeteria. You can't just get up, go, just kind of be buck wild in the cafeteria. We have to reiterate that structure. So it's one day at a time. It's only been 2 days, and the kids are excited. The teachers are excited. We're all excited to have them back.
And I'll just say it has been the same for us. We have been super excited. The kids walked in, they were excited to see their teachers, they were excited to see their friends. And like I said, you want to try to prevent as much as you can. But when I tell you little to no issues, the students did what we asked them to do. They wore their masks, they social distanced when they could. And, we were excited to have them back in the building. They came back with an attitude to learn. And our teachers jumped right to the task. And our focus, like I said, is building relationships, that social emotional learning, focusing on that, and just helping them to learn and reiterate what the procedures are within the building, And so we're just excited about what this year will bring for our students.
Secondly, the second part of the question is, what's your advice to, not only, to the parents who are still anxious about their kids and, who are really concerned, about their education and the learning loss that they had. And, I didn't realize it was 2 years since they've been in school. That's a long time for hybrid and virtual learning. That's a long time out of their school career, So what advice you have for the parents to undergird what you're doing in school?
I would say support. Trust us and know that we have their child's best interest at heart. We don't want any cases. We don't want any sickness within the school. And we just hope that parents support us. And really, if your child is sick, I know it may inconvenience you a little bit, but we don't want to infect a whole classroom or, take chances. Just flexibility. Parents have to be flexible during this time. And like I said, I know it's hard, I know it's not easy, but if your child is sick, runny nose, symptoms, temperature, we can't chance it. We need your support on that.
Okay.
I'm going to ask the parents just to have a conversation with your child. Like you said, some of them, it's been 2 years since being in the classroom. Talk to them about what's going on. Talk to them about how important it is to keep your mask on throughout the day. They do get mask breaks. Our kids are allowed, the teachers take them outside. So they do get breaks throughout the day. I think sometimes hearing it from your parent or hearing it starting at home, making sure that your kids know how important it is to keep your mask on. And I know it's hard for the babies. We have starting at pre-K3. That's hard. But if you start at home, like when you got guys go out, like making sure they have the mask on, it will really help as far as them being in school all day. Just having that conversation at home first.
I would think that parents should definitely have conversations around safety precautions, not to take hand washing and things like that for granted. In addition, as any involved parent would do, make sure that you're supplementing your child's education and make sure that you are addressing the learning loss as well. Taking them, to the library, having family reading time, having fun learning games and things like that. So, you can depend on the school to have those things in place, but you as a parent can make sure that you're addressing the learning loss by taking the ball and running with it yourself. And definitely making sure that your child understands how important it is to be safe because you've taken the time to have those important conversations about safety with them.
I think the other thing to consider as well for our parents is, as we know that many of them have returned to the world of work, and they have left that responsibility of maintaining some of our younger siblings to the older ones, as well as other guardians, just to keep in mind of being aware of where their children are going, who they're being with, the places that they travel to. And as they go to these places, just like with anything else, we want them to be safe, but we want them to be mindful about, again, continuing to wear their masks, be protective, not to be in small spaces or to congregate in large groups and be unprotected, because we know those are the opportunities where people get infected the most. So, as they do return to work and they leave their children in the care of others, that they be mindful to share those conversations with them as well.
My final question to all of you, and I'd like for all of you to chime in on it, is the mental health of our kids. They've been under a lot of stress like their parents, but our kids, I think, have been under a great deal of stress. The isolation, not having the socialization with their friends, the pandemic itself, also, we just went through storms and, the threat of storms in our area. What are the school districts and what are your school doing in particular as relates to the mental health of our students? What have you done in the area of counselors, and bringing additional people on to work at schools to make sure that our kids are not only educationally functioning, but dealing with the mental stresses of our children?
I know one thing that the city has started is building school resiliency teams. And each school has a team of teachers or just staff members, and they are being trained in school resilience, which focus on SEL learning. So these teachers will be able to turnkey with their learning to the staff as far as different strategies and different activities to push out to the students for SEL. Just like Nicole said, we have that 9th period. I know starting out, we're using our 9th period as an SEL period. So during that time, students can do things like yoga, they can talk to the counselor, all different things that the staff has come up with to kind of help with students' mental health and to make them a little more comfortable while they're at school, because we know that they've had a tough time being out this long.
Yeah. And just again, with what Mrs. Woody is saying, we also have a SDL at Sovereign Avenue. Last year, we knew that it was a great need. We created a SDL Google site where we gave teachers the tools that they needed, because not all teachers are familiar with SDL activities and even know how to execute them. So we gave them resources and tools that they could use in the classroom to help assist the students, not only in school, but when they are home. They can also use some of those strategies, journaling, breathing exercises, things to help them cope with whatever is going on in their household. So we're really focusing on that SDL piece as students are returning, because it's been hard. Students have lost family members to COVID, and we really just want to support the whole child as much as possible.
Now, both of you mentioned SEL quite a number of times. For the listening audience, can you explain what that is in a little more detail?
Sorry, I was trying to find a mute button. It's social emotional learning. So it kind of gets away a little bit from the academics. It's focusing on like your mental health, your social, your emotional well-being. So that's what SEL stands for.
Okay. All right. Ms. Atkins Turner?
So in Pleasantville, a couple of things. Pleasantville was awarded a mental health grant. Before we left school in June, each school was charged with identifying 75 students in their building that would benefit from the services of that grant. So we will be implementing that program this year. And to address our social emotional learning, we've implemented a program called Second Steps, and it will be our first year for that.
Dr. Chapman? Mrs. Chapman is back, so we missed you on the last question. Can you chime in now?
Sure, but what's the present question? I'm sorry. I'm just getting back in.
Okay, what are your school doing for, our kids have gone through the pandemic, the isolation, as was stated already, some have lost relatives and loved ones, coming back in the school district, with their own anxieties and pressures. What is the school doing to address those issues, the mental health and mental well-being of our children?
Okay, so I just want to go back to the last question, just to give the parents some advice. When I walk through the hallways of Atlantic City High School, one of the things that I see that stand out to me is that we have signs that say attendance matters. And so unless your child is sick, we need them to be in school. And we want them to know that now that they are back, their attendance still matters. And they need to come to school each day. And one of the things that I've done for my children is I packed them their own special bags with extra masks, hand sanitizer, and wipes. And I actually took the time to teach them how to wipe things down, how to wash their hands, and those things. So please take the time to do that. In regards to social emotional learning and the support that we have, we actually have for the first time created a class to support that is an elective. So students that are in need of that social emotional support can go to this class, and they have yoga and meditation, that type of thing. And we also have the Teen Center, which is a great service that that's provided to our students. So they can go there for counseling, for additional support. And we encourage our students that if you need to talk to someone, we also have our guidance counselors as well. But you can go to our Teen Center. You can come to our principal's offices and go to your guidance counselors, and we're here to support you. And then we're also providing SEL on Saturdays, workshops for the students, where they will have extracurricular activities and support for students in their social emotional learning.
Well, I want to thank all of you for coming on tonight. It's been very informative. We need to get as much information out to our parents and to our community as possible as it relates to our kids going back to school. Normally when we're going back to school, it's kind of exciting. Kids are out of the house and, things can kind of normalize. But this year, it's a total difference. We're excited on one hand and have tremendous anxiety on the other. Before we close, I'd like to give some closing remarks from each of you. Whatever you'd like to say that the topic we may have missed, or something you'd like to say to further explain something else or further emphasize something before we close. And we'll start with Dr. Chapman, with you.
Again, good evening. Thank you for this opportunity to be able to share information with our parents. One of the things that I want the parents to keep in mind as we return to school is to be actively involved in your child's education and open up that line of communication with your schools. Don't necessarily rely on contacting the main office to get information. Things are happening at a fast pace. We get extremely busy, and sometimes I know you guys get frustrated if your calls aren't answered in a particular time. But we do have other methods of communication. One of them that we use in the district is the Remind app, as well as Class Dojo for some of our elementary schools. If you don't have that information, just contact your teachers or other staff that you may know, or even other parents may have that information as well, so that you can get involved. That's a direct line to your teachers, to administrators as well, for you to get information. Also, email is a good way to communicate. I check my email probably more than I do anything else. So if you do have a question, our email is on our district website. Also, you get plenty of information off of our district website as far as information about schools being open. And so if you have any questions, that's a good resource to go to get information. And if nothing else, stop by the schools and we'll be sure to help you. Thank you.
So just jump in, anyone else?
Church family, go ahead.
I'm sorry. For our Atlantic City parents and probably Pleasantville parents too, just to kind of piggyback a little bit with communication, we are moving into doing everything digital. So any parents that are listening, please make sure your email address is updated through the system. Please fill out the student information card, form that your children received. They should have received it in the mail. If not, I'm sure they got one the first 2 days of school. It's so important that we have an updated phone number and that we have a current email address. Especially at the elementary level, we call parents often. Children get sick, things happen, and sometimes we don't have a phone number to contact the parent. So it's really important that you have an updated phone number, an updated email address, and just keep those lines of communication open with your child's teacher. We are so excited to have our students back, and we just want it to be a smooth school year as much as possible. Thank you.
Ms. Atkins, Turner?
So parents, I would say to you, particularly if you are a single parent, or even if you're not, sometimes you can be stressed out with all of the things that are on your plate. Just to let you know that we are willing to partner with you. And even if you feel that you're stressed out, the school is attached to a lot of resources in the community. And if you feel that you need help with your parenting skills or anything else that would help you better serve your child, get in touch with your school's counselors or some of the people at school. We have a lot of resources that we can connect you to make sure that you are not stressing, to make sure that you are at peace, to make sure that you're not being overwhelmed. So I urge you again, parents, just be willing to partner with us, and us working together can better serve your child.
Yeah. Nicole?
Yes, I would just want to say, church family, please continue to pray for us, pray for our students, that we have a safe and healthy school year. And to parents, just to piggyback off of Mrs. Turner, I was going to say the same thing. We are partners. We're not the enemy, we're partners. We're here to help you. We're here to support you because we're resilient. As a people, we are resilient. We can get through this together. Any resources, any help that you need, please just don't hesitate to reach out because we have the power to be whatever we want to be. So again, just church family, continue to pray for us. And Pastor Days, thank you for this opportunity.
Great. Then I think, Ms. Chapman.
Oh, I just want to say the same things that everyone else said. You know, on a high school level, oftentimes parents begin to think that their children are little adults, so then they kind of fall back from being as involved. But we still need you to be involved in your children's education. So please make sure that you're checking their grades on a regular basis, like they've already. I just said, I just want to reiterate, please be sure to update your contact information so that we can reach out to you, so that you have access to their Go portal, so their grade portal. And just know we are a team. We're going to get through this year. We're going to get through it together. Whatever you need, please make sure that you reach out to us. We don't know something is going on unless you tell us. So please make sure that you communicate with us on a regular basis so that we can do what is best for your children. So as Nicole has already shared, please continue to keep us in your prayers, and we're going to do whatever we need to do in order to ensure this is a successful school year for all of our children.
We want to thank all of you for sharing with us today and the tremendous information you've given. We are grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you so much for your input. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your expertise, and thank you for what you do for the children of Atlantic City and Pleasantville. We thank all of you for joining us tonight, and we hope and pray that the information provided tonight will be a blessing to you and information and empowerment. And we want to say thank God for all of our teachers and all of our administrators and everyone who worked for the school district. And we want, as they solicit your prayer, all of Second Baptist and all of our friends, let's lift up our school, our children, and our teachers and administrative staff. So today sends her regards, and hopefully she'll be back with us soon. But we thank you so much for joining us and sharing this time with us tonight. Bless you, and we pray that God will continue to richly pour out all of his blessings upon you, and we'll see you Wednesday night, 7 o'clock for Bible study.